Hello guys, in this video we're gonna continue to work on basic script and movement, and in this video I wanna give you a bit of a challenge later on. Let's go to script we had, and I'm gonna show you one thing. I wanna show you how to do input of the keys on a keyboard, but just like, for once, let's say for a jump. Let's go over here and type if input get key down, key code space. Then I'm gonna hold my shift and press enter to open curly brackets, and I'm gonna do debug.log jumped. This is how it happens. Or just in case you wonder how I type these things so quickly, it is super easy. It is because I'm using Intel Sense to help me feel all of these things. Like I type if, and here I can just type inp, let's say, and it already sees what I need. So I just press the dot and it fills up word for me, and then I want to type, let's say, get key down. I'm going to do get key, even you can see it's not a full word, and I'm opening the parentheses, and it does it for me. And again, key, core, and I press dot, and then it goes and sees what I need, and then I can just type left shift, and then I'm holding shift and pressing enter, and it opens curly brackets. So it's all auto-filled, and it's not that I'm that fast, In fact, I make a lot of mistakes when I'm typing. All right, so as I was saying, we have input from a button, key code space, and we have word jumped in the debug. Let's go back to Unity, and to see the debug, we need a console window. So I'm gonna go to Window, General, Console, and I'm gonna drag it over here, like so. Now, in a play mode, if I press my space button, oh no, what is happening? Box collider was deleted by me, I'm sorry. Okay. And before we continue, I want to say thanks to all of my patrons and give special thanks to Friendly Robot, ASKT1 Mighty Poppy, Dmitry Bilets, Steven and Gennady, Chen Son, and Retrobet Gamer. Thanks to you guys, these videos are possible. Now, if I press the space key, obviously he's not going to jump, but we can see a message in the console. Let's click this collapse over here. So it's all together, and we can see it was called 4 times. I'm gonna try jump again. You can see that, right? Now let's try to do something different. Let's go to move controller over here, and I'm gonna delete this jumped, and I'm gonna type here space was pressed. Now let's add another one. If input get key code space debug log space is pressed. Yeah, and I'm gonna add another one. Input get key up, key code space debug log space was released. And by using these comments, I actually explained to you the difference between these 3 inputs. So get key down reacted when the key on your keyboard reached the bottom point. Get key acted when you hold in the button, and get key up acting when you release the button. Let's go and try that. Let's go back to Unity. I'm gonna enter play mode, and you can see when I'm pressing the button, I've seen 1 message, 21 messages on space is pressed, and space was released only once. Now let me clear it, and I'm gonna hold the button. You can see it shows space was pressed once. Now it's been held, and then I'm going to release it. Space was released. Cool. So now we know a bit more about the difference of the input. Now I'm going to delete these because we're not going to use them. I'm going to have only this one. And I want to challenge you just a bit. Try to make character jump when you pressed the space key. And I'm going to wait a couple of seconds, then I'm going to show it to you. So, and again, if you cannot do that, just don't stress out too much. Just watch the solution, right? But try to make character jump by using knowledge you already have. Let's wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what you do here? You type rb.velocity equals to new vector 2, and let me delete this. And here I'm going to use rb.velocity.x, and I'm going to explain why we type in that a bit later. And for the y, we need a variable, right? So I'm going to go here and make serialized field private float jump force. And now back here, jump force. Now we can use this variable to set up the value we want to give it a jump force. Let's go back to Unity and try that. I'm going to set jump force to maybe 4, and because this function will be called only when button is pressed, as you've seen before by using debug lines, it's going to jump only once. And here it is, we jump in and we can move. That is funny. Rigid body, freeze rotation Z. Okay. Oh, I forgot to change jump force 4. So certainly there are some issues with it, because at the moment I can jump endlessly, and we're going to fix that later in the next video. As of now, we can see that he's jumping like so, and that is pretty cool. So we already have kind of a platformer controller that you could use. Just, you know, make another platform and play your platformer. Yeah, that's how it is. Let me set default values. Jump force will be 4 as of now. I'll keep it at that, or maybe 6. And I'm not going to change anything else here. Now, the last thing I want to explain is why we type in here rbvelocity.y, let's say, instead of 0, because we kind of changing on the x, so why would we change or type anything on the y? So you cannot type 0 here, because if you type 0, it will be set to 0. And basically that means you will not change anything. It will be set to 0. It is what it is. If you set it to 0, it will be 0, but we need to have it its own velocity on the y. So let's type 0 and see what happens then. I'm moving, but if I jump, you can see my character immediately goes back, or not even jumping, as you can see, right? Even though I'm pressing jump and I know it's working, there it is, a bit of a jump. Yeah, maybe if I press it a lot. Yeah, it goes back. So it's getting interrupted and set back to 0, because we're setting it to 0 in the update. And if we type rbvelocity.y, it will take its own velocity on the y and use it without changing anything. Basically, this means do not change anything and use your own velocity. Something like that. I hope that explains it a bit. Yeah, let's see what else we could do here. We could do a bit of a cleanup, actually, and then we can wrap this up. What cleanup I'm talking about? It's a good practice to wrap functionality in method. Method or function can be called both ways. It can be method, can be function, doesn't matter. So the idea is, if you can wrap something up in the method, you better do it. And we can do it actually. We can take this line of code, click right button, quick actions and refactoring, and there is extract method. Now we can give it a name, and I'll just type movement, and that's it. It's done. There are hotkeys to do that, and let's try with this one. So I'm going to select it by holding Shift and pressing Home to select the entire line. And I can see right here it says Control plus dot, right? And if you click it, Control plus dot, submenu will be called. Also, there is another way to do that. You can press Alt Enter. It's going to call submenu the same way. So what you're going to use, Alt Enter or Control dot, is up to you. And then I'm going to click Extract Method, and I'm going to give it a name of a jump. That's how it is. Now our update is a bit cleaner and a bit more understandable. There is another thing I want to show you regarding the cleanup. I personally like it to do a lot, so I'm going to show you how to do it. If you have only one line of code in the if statement, what you can do is just to type it like so without curly brackets, and it will work the same. But you can type it this way only if you have one line of code in the if statement, right? Then you can do it. This will be same as this one. But if you have a couple of lines of code, then you have to use curly brackets and place them inside of a bracket. So this is how I'm going to keep it for now. I think this is good. And there are some other things we could do to make it cleaner, but as of now, let's keep it as it is. Thanks for watching. Rest of the course will be posted on this channel shortly. Subscribe not to miss that. Check my website for more courses. Ask your questions in the comments below. And remember, we don't play games, we make them.